the Great Alaska Shootout. Catch the third place and championship games live only on your Total Sports Network. See it all Sunday.
Jack Edwards along with John Worley. John, a close decision, a tight one, but the right one?
I think so. I had the fight by 1 point, and Alvin Prouder, I think, did score the more telling blows in the fight, scored more often and controlled the pace of the fight. Did a great job, but the credit should go to both fighters. A tremendous fight. There's going to be a rematch. You can plan on it. A great fight, and Alvin Prouder regains the World Welterweight Championship here at the Metro Center in Rockford, Illinois. For John Worley, I'm Jack Edwards. Thanks for joining us. So long, everybody.
ESPN, the Total Sports Network. ESPN presents college basketball. Tonight from Levitt Arena in Wichita, Kansas, it's the Oregon State Beavers versus the Wichita State Shockers.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to College Basketball 85 on ESPN. I'm Tom Mees, and what an intersectional battle we have for you tonight between the Shockers of Wichita State and the Beavers of Oregon State. Wichita State in its season opener, and they are heavily favored. Why? Because Ralph Miller usually has a pretty good team at Oregon State. Well, one look at the doctor's chart at Oregon State will show why the Beavers are underdogs in this game. For example, senior guard Darrell Flowers recovering from a knee injury. His time is limited to 10 minutes per game. Sophomore guard Eric Knox has hurt a knee in practice a couple of weeks ago. He'll be out for the season. And sophomore forward Mark Casca recovering from surgery on both knees. So there are legitimate concerns at Oregon State University as to the kind of depth that they can put in on the court tonight against Wichita State. But Ralph Miller returning to an area of the country that he knows very well, and his boys will be playing very well tonight, and they'll have to against the Wichita State Shockers. We'll be back with the starting lineups from tonight's game in Wichita in just a moment.
This portion of tonight's game is being brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. And by St. Croix, St. John, and St. Thomas.
Thank you for your order, and be sure to look for your free gift. Would you like to receive a free gift, too, and save money at the same time? I'll be right back to show you how.
The Old West. Not much left anymore. Just a few crumbling buildings, dusty mementos, and legends. Lots of legends, though not all of them square with the facts. That's why Time Life Books got on the trail of the Old West. Good thing, too. They rescued photographs you didn't know existed. Put it all down while you could still get the straight story about people.
Like these two sons of a Baptist minister. They staged the first daylight bank robbery in U.S. history. Frank and Jesse James. Here's Clay Allison. Called himself a shootist. Hair-triggered Bat Masterson, who wound up a New York sports writer. And what kind of lady was wanted for horse stealing and bootlegging? That was no lady. That was Belle Starr. John Wesley Hardin. Before the Texas Rangers caught up with him, he shot 44 men. One of them just for snoring too loud.
And that's in your first book alone, The Gunfighters. A big, handsome volume with a look and feel of hand-tool leather.
Take 10 days to look it over. No obligation. Return it, and you can forget the Old West. Or keep it, and about every other month, you'll get another volume for the same free once-over. The Great Chiefs, the Gamblers, the 49ers. Keep those you won't. Cancel any time.
The Old West. You still find it in Time Life Books.
Hi, I'm Kathy at Time Life Books. If you call now, you'll get the Gunfighters for just $4.95 plus shipping and handling. That's $8 off the regular price. Plus, you'll receive this Western belt buckle free when you purchase your first book.
Call 1-800-453-6605. That's 1-800-453-6605.
This offer ends soon, so call now.
Welcome to Wichita. Tonight's basketball action on ESPN, an intersectional battle here in the West. It's Oregon State moving into Wichita to play the Shockers of Wichita. Hello, I'm Jim Thacker with Larry Conley, two teams that really like to go at each other.
Jim, they really do, you know, and you look at Ralph Miller's clubs. Over the years, they have a history of liking to go to 94 feet. They love to press. I think because of their physical limitations, they have some injury problems. They may be somewhat limited in the usage of that press. On the other hand, you look at Wichita State, they're very deep this year. They've lost two key players in Sherrod and McDaniel. When you look at them, you've got to think, we're going to press. We're not going to worry about fouls. We're just going to go out and play as hard as we can. And I think you're going to see a really interesting game because Miller would love to play, I think, the way Gene Smithson's going to play tonight.
All right. As a fact, you can probably hear in the background, they're saluting Miller here. This is where he began his fabulous run of 34 years of coaching, 220 victories here, most ever wins at Wichita, and they still love him here.
Oh, they absolutely do. We attended a luncheon today, and they had a great time down there, great stories about him.
Well, now he goes against his old team, and now here's David Phillips with the opening lineups.
On behalf of Wichita State University in Wichita, Kansas, and its president, Dr. Warren B. Armstrong, we want to welcome you to tonight's basketball game. Tonight's starting lineup for the Oregon State Beavers. At one forward, a 6'6" senior from National City, California, number 42, Tyrone Miller. At the other forward, a 6'4" freshman from Long Beach, California, number 21, Van Anderson. At center, a 6'9" senior from Portland, Oregon, number 00, Steve Woodside. At one guard, a 6'3" senior from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, number 11, Darryl Flowers. At the other guard, a 6'2" senior from Chicago, Illinois, number 30, Darren Houston. And the head coach of the Beavers, Ralph Miller. And now for the Wichita State Shockers. At one forward, a 6'7" junior from New York, New York, number 44, Gus Santos. At the other forward, a 6'9" sophomore from Titograd, Yugoslavia, number 45, Sasha Radunovic. At center, a 6'9" junior from Wichita, Kansas, number 53, Henry Carr. At one guard, a 6'8" freshman from Macon, Georgia, number 20, Steve Grayer. At the other guard, a 6'5" junior from Mount Vernon, New York, number 3, Lou Hill. And the head coach of the Shockers, Gene Smithson. The officials for tonight's game.
We'll be right back with the opening tip-off of tonight's game from Wichita, Kansas, between Oregon State and the Shockers of Wichita State.
Spinning out at Indy at 200 miles an hour just isn't a whole lot of fun. Believe me, I wore a seatbelt that day. And I wore a seatbelt when I had a really dangerous job, driving a New York City cab. And I wear a seatbelt even when I'm just cruising around town. It doesn't take a genius to figure it out. Seatbelts keep you where you belong, in the car. It's your life, so smarten up, buckle up.
Smart advice from the United States Department of Transportation.
Friday, basketball super season rolls out the heavy artillery at the Great Alaska Shootout. It's a fantastic tournament featuring an awesome North Carolina quintet in the live opener against Missouri. And you'll see defending national champion Villanova in a battle with powerhouse Nevada, Las Vegas. Two incredible matchups you don't want to miss. SportsCenter follows with up-to-the-minute scores, highlights, and more. It's television's most relied-on sports news report. All Friday on the home of the America's Cup, ESPN.
Now, the home
gym that treats your body to a 9-station workout. Trim Track. Durable, no-nonsense construction. Yet Trim Track can be yours on this special TV offer for just $39.95. It's a rowing machine. Perfect exercise for flattening the tummy. And you'll love quality touches like the padded seat and smooth as silk track action. The padded footlock is perfect for sit-ups. Gives you a trim, tight waistline. Hop on your knees for arm curls. Does miracles for arms and neck and chin. Trim Track. It's the fast track to the slender, younger figure you've been dreaming of. Just $39.95. Have your credit card ready and call now. Here's how to order.
To order your Trim Track, call toll-free 1-800-544-1000 or send $39.95 plus $5 for shipping and handling to Trim Track. P.O. Box 121, Plainville, Connecticut 06062.
Capacity crowd, 10,600 plus here in the Levitt Arena for tonight's game. And the officials will be Ron Spittler and Wayne Unruh of the Missouri Valley Conference. There's the matchup for tonight's game. A little bit of a height advantage for Wichita, a very young team. They've got 6'7", 6'9", 6'9", and then a 6'8" guard. So that's a little bit of height for Oregon State. They go 6'7", 6'9", and 6'4". Oregon State has won both the games played between these two teams. They have not played since 1973. Oregon State in the orange and Wichita in the white. Henry Carr against Steve Woodside. Wichita State goes to the attack. This is Young Hill. He'll be playing his first year of Division I basketball coming out of junior college. Gets around one man and he throws it away. And Larry, that might what we'll be seeing a little bit here from this very young team.
Well, Wichita State, a very young basketball team. And of course, we open up here with a bad pass. It's a little cold there on that pass, but not as cold as it is outside, Jim.
There's the pressure we're talking about here is Flowers works against Hill. Straight man-to-man pressure, and they really keep the heat on you. 45-second clock, of course, will be used throughout the season. Woodside the inside, great pass to the inside, and there's Miller to put it in. So Oregon State draws first blood.
Beaver coaching staff very complimentary of Woodside's passing ability, and he just exhibited it right there.
Radunovich, Oregon State also keeps up a lot of pressure, so they're not going to let these two teams get settled. A little bit of a zone defensive setup there. And here's the foul against Flowers as Grayer, the big 6'8" guard from Macon, Georgia, a freshman, tried to penetrate. That's the first foul of the game.
Oregon State changed defenses that time. They went to a 2-3 zone, and they were trapping out of it, and they're going to stay in the zone defense as Wichita State in plays the ball.
There's Missouri Valley Conference last year, what they did. Outside shot by Radunovich. Young fellow from Yugoslavia, and he can fill it up, even though he's a 6'9" player.
The name of the town is Titograd, and you had a good question for him today. What was the name of his town before? And I'm not going to ask you to mention it.
No, it started out Port, and he lost me after that. Outside shot by Flowers. Wichita State still looking for its first lead. Will get the rebound. Carr, and now they get it up to Radunovich. 2-2 tie.
Jim, you know, most European players come over here. They're very inflexible, and they don't have the flow of the game. I think Radunovich may be an exception in this particular case. He's very fluid. His dad coached him over there in Yugoslavia. He has good movements, almost like a guard.
Hill on the outside. Rebound, good block out of there. And a nice move the inside to get the ball by Santos. And Henry Carr's got it for Wichita. Takes it strong. Now they tip it deep to Hill. And that resets the shot clock at 45 seconds. There's the size advantage we talk about. Santos the inside. Gus off the mark. Woodside clears the outlet pass here to Flowers.
Good pass by Flowers inside, but he couldn't get it to anybody because it was so crowded over there.
Van Anderson to the outside. Good position by Flowers, but taken away by Grayer. Boy, this young fellow, Steve Grayer, looks more like a center than he does a guard. They get to pick up Santos and a driving shot. Gus Santos, nobody picked him up. There's a pretty good collision down there for no call.
Yeah, I think Ralph Miller was looking for a charging call. He felt like his guy was in position to draw the charge. Official didn't think so, and he was standing right there.
First lead of the game for Wichita at 4-2.
Good pass.
Bob inside to Woodside, and good block by Carr. Wichita comes up with the ball, I think, uphill. Santos on the break.
Smart play. Don't press it. Don't push it in if you don't have the advantage. He took it back outside. Now Wichita State sets their offense.
Saw the intimidation a moment ago of Henry Carr. He's the brother of Antoine Carr, who was a great All-American here at Wichita. There's a 5-second call. So the defense comes through for Oregon State. They get possession of the ball out of backcourt. Not many rule changes this year, Larry.
Jim, only one, and we had a big discussion with the officials about it. It's the intentional foul call. And if we have one come up or occur here during the basketball game, we'll get into it and discuss it at length. I understand they had a real problem in the North Carolina-UCLA game the other night on that intentional foul call.
Oregon State picked number 3 team in the Pac-10 this year, but they've been a dominant team out there in recent years, not like it used to be with UCLA. That foul is on Santos. First one on him, first one on Wichita.
Maybe a little bit of a quickness advantage to Anderson in that situation over in the corner. Santos a little bit bigger and a little bit heavier.
Actually, a 3-guard lineup in there for Oregon State. Flowers, Houston, Anderson, all are guards. This is Houston. He hasn't touched the ball that much. Darren Houston.
Good move.
Good move on the reverse spin. Rebound Henry Carr, and it is taken away. And now a good move for the layup by Miller. Miller just took it away to get his 4th point, and we're tied for the second time.
Oregon State again picking up full court. You see Flowers out front, and right on the side is Houston right there.
Weak side pass. Hits over there nicely to Hill, and it's tipped in underneath.
Henry Grayer.
Grayer gets the basket. First one for him. Wichita back in the lead 6-4.
Wichita State showing some early strength on that offensive glass. They're really putting the pressure on Oregon State when the ball goes up.
One score a moment ago, they got about 3 or 4 shots in one possession. Oh, look at that Hill move to the inside. Intercepted by Razumovich. Big guy, nice pass to Santos. Didn't see it. It's knocked up by Anderson. It'll be Oregon State ball, but the big guy showed some movement, didn't he, down floor at 6'9". Sasha Radunovic from Titograd, Yugoslavia.
See on your screen there, I'll tell you what, Miller was giving it what to for the official right there. He had his captured audience.
Another quick move by Houston. These are some fast hands on the Oregon State players. Grayer looks in one time to Henry Carr. And there's Woodside fronting him, flashing inside Santos. Nice move.
It was a good play because he got him up in the air, and once you're up there, there's nothing you can do, and he just left him hanging. Miller was there, and he took it in. Good move by Santos.
Biggest lead by either team, 8-4. 4-point lead by Wichita. Wichita keeps on the pressure. Here goes Woodside. We've played a little under 5 minutes. 15-20 to go in the first half. Woodside spinning free at the free throw line. His shooting's been off. Grayer picks up a loose ball for Wichita. Backcourt foul by Houston. Second team foul on Oregon State. First one on Darren Houston, a senior out of Chicago. He was a starter last year on the team that was dominated, of course, by A.C. Green, who's gone on to become a great rookie in the NBA with your old fellows team.
Yeah, he really has. I talked to Pat Riley this summer. He's very, very high on A.C. Green, playing with the Lakers, as he should be. They're leading that Western Division.
Wichita 8-4. Grayer on a fall-away shot tipped up by Henry Carr. And now comes Oregon State 3-2. Right side. Here's the layup by Anderson. Basket's good. And they got a personal foul charging on Flowers. That'll probably take away the basket.
Foul number 11.
Well, the charge is on Flowers, and the basket does not count. The foul came before the basket, and we get a timeout. Just under 15 minutes to go in the first half from Wichita. 8-4, the Shockers lead.
I'm Charles Schwab. Over 1 million investors who make their own investment decisions trade with us. Here are a few reasons why.
Okay, good, thanks. Bye. There, I took your advice and bought that stock.
Already? You were on the phone less than a minute.
Oh, sure. I called Charles Schwab, placed the order, and they told me the price I paid, all in less than a minute.
Charles Schwab is fast.
And they saved me money on brokerage commissions.
How much do you say? 25, 30%?
More like 70% compared to what I used to pay my full commission broker.
Now, that's a good deal.
That's what I've been trying to tell you. You know, you really should call Schwab.
I think I will.
For a free booklet on how you can save up to 76% on brokerage commissions, call 800-554-9000 toll-free. That's 800-554-9000. Charles Schwab, the Bank America Company. Member SIPC.
If you're putting in long hours in your quest for the American dream, subscribe to the Wall Street Journal. Working late won't be any more fun, but it might be more rewarding.
Call 800-554-9000 for this new Journal offer. 13 weeks for just $28 with a money-back guarantee. 13 weeks, $28. Phone 800-554-9000 now for the Wall Street Journal.
Well, there's Gene Smithson, who's had quite a run here. Announcers for this game have been hired and contracted for by Creative Sports Marketing and approved by the Missouri Valley Conference. And any use of this broadcast is strictly prohibited.
Wichita State's got 8 rebounds in the early going, Jim, and I guarantee you 7 of them have been on that offensive glass. They've really put the pressure on Oregon State.
And Mark Arline's come here. Sasha on the outside. Good block out in there by Tyrone Miller of Oregon State. Mike Arline's now coming at point guard. And they're giving Grayer a little bit of a rest. Still sticky man-to-man pressure here by Wichita against Oregon State. Woodside looking for the backdoor cut. Driving goes Anderson for layup. Too strong, but Miller taps it in. Tyrone Miller's 6-point, and he's been carrying the Beavers thus far, and he cuts the lead to 2, 8-6 Wichita.
Arline gives them a little bit more quickness out front. Grayer gives them more height out front, but Grayer will run the break, and I think he runs the offense a little bit better.
Well, this also frees up the young Hill right there with the ball, and he could concentrate more on scoring. He played junior college last year with Walter Berry out in Texas.
Wichita State looks a little confused on offense right now. Looks like Radunovich was trying to become a traffic cop out there and move people around on the floor.
Oh, Hill makes a nice move.
Good recovery by Oregon State. Good man-to-man defense. Sloughing, good help away. Look at Woodside. He's out there on Radunovich, but he's not going out too far.
Inside, they're going to Henry Carr. The foul's going to be on Miller, I believe. Tyrone Miller. They were getting down close in the shot clock. Only 5 seconds to go. That'll be the first foul on Tyrone Miller. And number 4 against Oregon State. Because it was 2 years ago that Hill and Berry were teammates. Oh, good inbound play to Santos. 6 points for Gus Santos. Van Anderson comes in looking for the defender. It keeps you a little bit off balance, y'all. With the 45-second clock, doesn't full court pressure. You have to think about that. And it's also getting off the shot ball. Nice move inside to Miller. And the miss ripped off by Santos. And he is fouled by Miller. And that's 2 quick fouls on Tyrone Miller. And now we'll see what Ralph Miller does here with what has been his star player so far.
Jim, I think this was just a frustration foul right here. He just missed an early shot right there. This is the end of that play. He reached in right there and grabbed him right across the arm. And it was a good rebound by Gus Santos. Santos in position to get it. Here's the shot right there of a Radunovich. There's the miss. Miller will come right back. Good grab by Santos. And on the other side, we go back to live action, and here's the basket.
And it's Lou Hill connecting on the perimeter for Wichita. Up for lead to 4 again at 10-6. 12-6 now. 6-point lead. Off the break. Houston.
Flowers and Houston. Good give and go that time.
Back to a 4-point lead at 12-8. 12 minutes, 45 seconds to go in the first half. Capacity crowd here in Wichita. Now Santos way outside. Good range. Rebound down by Van Anderson. And here comes Oregon State with a break. Woodside gives it way cross court to Flowers. And coming in is Anderson with a rebound. And that might be Henry Carr. And that was the quickness of Anderson, because when that ball came off the rim, Carr had position, and Anderson just beat him to it.
Watch Woodside making the pass right here. Get in position. He'll work his way around and get Carr in the inside. Watch him move around. Good move right there. They're both too far underneath. The carom comes away, and Carr pushes off to try to get the basketball. Good camera work that time, Jim.
Screen by Houston certainly was. Radunovich, long pass. Oh, good pass into the layup side, and a great play for Wichita State. Santos' 8th point. What a touch pass that was at midcourt.
Arline with good heads-up movement right there. He saw the breaking Santos. Just let it go right off his fingers. Didn't even grab it.
Now they go in for the alley-oop here with Woodside, and Houston gets it back out to Anderson. And rebound again by inside goes to Flowers, and now finally down to Henry Carr. And that was Oregon State's best work on the board.
But they didn't get any production out of it. They got a lot of rebounds, but no points.
Still a 6-point lead for Wichita, 14-8. Sandals had a hot hand. Yep. 10 points for Gus Santos. And the junior from New York City has been the take charge guy here for Wichita in the first 9 minutes. 11.5 to go in the first half. And it's the biggest lead so far, 16-8. Anderson Law in the corner. Henry Carr looking for the break. R-line leading to Radunovich. Tough break. Casca's got it down for Oregon State.
Racehorse basketball. Both teams going up and down the court very quickly.
Boy, they keep pressure on you. Here goes Houston out of the corner.
I don't think Oregon State likes to play like this, Jim. They like that pattern basketball, but they've gotten into a running game here, and Wichita State loves to play like that.
Ralph Miller's never liked the shot clock. They've never had it in the Pac-10 conference. He's played again, I guess, it many times, of course, in non-conference games, but he's not a fan of the shot clock. But this year he's got it. Lob to the inside, trying to go to Carr. They get him. Henry Carr.
You know, when things are going well for you, everything goes well. And right then, it was an errant pass. It hit the bottom of the board, came right down into the hands of Henry Carr.
8-point lead, Larry, for the home team. We're coming to the midway point in the first half. Casca, nobody picks him up. Now, Flowers is looking in at Casca again. Now they go high to Woodside. They love the back door, but they've covered that up, Wichita has. Woodside fumbled the ball. That's a reach in by Henry Carr. Number 2 on Carr. Gene Smithson, second winningest coach in Wichita history, by the way, and second to Ralph Miller, who's his opposing coach here tonight. But he's had 3 straight 20-plus win seasons and gone to the NCAA the last couple of years. That's Henry Carr picks up the foul. Clint Normore's come in at backcourt for Wichita, so Smithson's beginning to use his bench. Here's Normore.
Oregon State really runs their half-court offense very well.
That's a blocking foul on Normore, who just came off the bench. This is one thing, though, that Smithson is not that much concerned with this year. Too much fouling, because he's got a great depth, and he really doesn't have any key players that he might fear would get into trouble, as he would have last year with Xavier McDaniel.
Well, if he had Sherrod and McDaniel last year, if those two guys went out of the lineup, they were in a bad, bad way. Even though they went on to the NCAA tournament and got beaten by Georgia in the first round, he really could ill afford to lose those guys. This year, he's got about 10 players he can play, and he goes deep with them.
Over the middle now. Nice drive in there by Paul Weekly. Just came in the lineup. Comes out of that great high school out in Los Angeles. Crenshaw High, where his dad's an assistant coach. 18-12, 6-point lead. High pass the inside, broken up, intercepted. Woodside's got it for Oregon State. Beavers now trying to get a rally going.
One thing you don't want to do, Jim, is throw the ball into heavy traffic. Carr just couldn't come up with it because of 3 guys around him.
Mark Casca. Well, that was a pass that got away. A little bit too much zip on that. And I believe that Houston got screened off that by a teammate. Timeout with 9:44 to go in the first half in Wichita. The Shockers lead it by 6, 18-12.
Meet Babe Ruth in person in your home.
I'm proud of that bat because it represents the bat I hit my 60 home runs with.
ESPN presents a sports classic, Meet Babe Ruth, a half-hour home video cassette collectible. Incredible highlights from the life of the fabulous Babe, exclusively for ESPN viewers. The Babe Ruth you haven't seen before. Spring training with Lou Gehrig. A sad twilight of his career as a coach with the Brooklyn Dodgers. Meet Babe Ruth, a home video cassette exclusively for ESPN viewers. The perfect gift at $14.95 for any occasion. Meet Babe Ruth.
To order your exclusive Meet the Babe video cassette, call 1-800-222-2990. That's 1-800-222-2990. All major credit cards accepted.
Well, we've had the first breath of winter hit here in the Midwest. As a matter of fact, it was very cold. We were all arriving yesterday. So cold that some of us, like Larry Conley, couldn't get a plane here. So they had to depend on our good friends at National Rent-A-Car, and they came through when the chips were down. So our hats off to National Rent-A-Car. You try it next time. Missouri Valley Conference, the oldest conference west of the Mississippi, and what a rich basketball history they've had. 1907 it started, Larry.
Jim, they've had about 30 schools who played in that conference, and it's been outstanding. Great history. Great schools have gone through that conference, and they've got great ones now.
Oscar Robertson, Larry Bird, could go on and on.
A couple of mediocre guys.
Our line now at point guard. Also in there is Curtis Bailey. Here he is. He's 6'9", just a sophomore. It's a young team at Wichita.
Gene Smithson talked to us about that this morning. He says, I've got a real young team. He says, I've got to have a good recruiting year next year, and he says, I'll really build from that. I think he's got good talent here, Jim.
Coming down now to 9 minutes to go in the first. Carr double teamed and foul from Darrell Flowers, and now Flowers at point guard picks up his 3rd personal foul for Oregon State. A little bit of trouble. He's been a little bit slow in rehabilitation of that knee surgery. Watch it.
Tries to sneak in from behind right there, and he slapped Carr's elbow instead of the ball.
Not usually a smart play, is it?
Not really. It's very difficult to try to reach in and get that basketball because in most cases you're going to get the elbow or the arm.
Well, the rotation, they got Gus Sandoz headed for the basket, but weak side help that time by Woodside, was able to knock the ball away. Van Anderson comes back in now. They probably take Flowers out. Yep, Flowers is going out, so that means a new point guard to set up the play for Oregon State. Normore from the perimeter.
That might be a mismatch out front. Anderson's going to have to put a little bit pressure on Normore out there because he can shoot from that range.
20-12, another 8-point lead. Driving shot, Oregon State. Ooh, will not go. It was a tough break for Van Anderson. And Sandoz has got the ball for Wichita. 8:45 remaining in the first half from Wichita, Kansas.
Oregon State's playing straight up man-to-man right now. It was a 1-4 alignment by Wichita State. They're trying to pop somebody loose on the baseline and then rotate to the other side for some screens. Bailey out front with the basketball has got a good angle because of his height.
Carr banks the ball. Oh, a nice try in there by Bailey, but now it's pulled down for Oregon State. And here comes Houston as the Beavers go back to work. They're trailing by 8.
Oregon State maybe has gotten into a little bit more controlled break. Good pass to Woodside. Good move. Left hand.
Oh, what a pretty play by Steve Woodside. He's the guy that's got to take charge for Oregon State. 6'9" senior from Portland, team with AC Green last year inside.
There's a lot of beef inside with Casca and Woodside. You got Wade moving around in there. What they've got to do is prevent that pass from coming in. Good move. Oh, look at that. Good turn.
Trying to do a 3-8. Tapped in by Sandoz. Will not go. And who wants it? Yep, jump ball. And I think it'll go to Oregon State. Sandoz comes off the floor. Radunovich is coming back in for Wichita. And Henry Carr now is going to get a rest as Gene Smithson rotates his big men in there. He's lost a couple of players, too. Tom Kuzic is out for the season. There's the rebounding picture. You can see Wichita's superior height would have been a big advantage for the Shockers.
A lot of new players coming into the basketball game now. Both coaches getting some fresh people out there to play.
Well, Hill has come back in at point guard, replacing Arline for Wichita. Normore stays in there. Oh, Houston just moved by Normore. He's really got some speed, Houston does. Casca makes a strong move in there, gets a double team. That throws his shot off a little bit. Here comes Wichita leading by 6. Loose ball, and Houston going the other way against Sandoz. Houston just pulls up, hits it.
That's a shot some coaches don't want you to take, Jim. You take a 1-on-2 break and you pull up and take it. If you miss it, you got nobody there to rebound it. But Houston had a lot of confidence in that shot, and Ralph Miller felt very good about it when it hit the bottom of the court.
So Oregon State's hanging in there, Larry. Just 4 points down now. They're down by 8. A minute or so ago. Radunovich, he'll put it up from out here. Good head fake, partially blocked by Woodside. Casca's got the rebound. Oregon State could get within 2. Ball Weekly, look to the inside. Give and go to Weekly. Weekly spins free and scores. And Oregon State now seems much more organized team.
Yeah, they're a good half-court basketball team. When they get into that controlled break and run a half-court offense, they're a tough basketball team. They didn't win 4 of their last 6 Pac-10 championships by doing anything else than what they're doing right now.
2-minute drought by Wichita State, and Oregon State has made the most of it, cutting out 6 of their 8-point lead. Looks like Wichita State has pulled back a little bit. They were going all out in pressure, and here's another ball thrown away, but they got a foul on the inside against Paul Weekly. Now more subs come in. Arline returns at point guard. Greer comes back in. That means Normore will be coming out of there, and so will the young sophomore Curtis Bailey. So Smithson has used already about 9 or 10 players. So if it comes down the second half, Larry, he could have the fresher players.
Wichita State seems a little disorganized out there right now on offense. They haven't done much of anything, at least in the early going. They were getting the basketball inside, getting a lot of second and third shots. Oregon State seems to have shut that off. And I think maybe it's their changing defenses. Their man-to-man defense has been pretty good the last 5 minutes.
Wichita, a very young team, and usually it's a natural thing. The defense is going to be a little ahead of the offense this time of the year, isn't it?
Santos is a big kid, weighs 225. A little bit of a knee problem. He's come out here. I think he's one of those types of players, Jim, we talked about. He's got all kinds of aches and pains and complains about them, but when they throw it up, he's ready to play.
Yep, he's ready to go. Because he had a very scary accident last year and had a fractured vertebrae. If he got out of that, all right, now he's got a little bit of a stress fracture in his foot. Now here's the pressure being applied a little bit more. Radunovic knocks the ball free. Shot clock at 32 seconds. That time down, looks like Wichita's gone back a little bit more of the really strong pressure.
Yeah, I think Coach Smithson got him on the side over there and said, hey, look, we can't let Oregon State get into that half-court game. We've got to go out and put pressure on them. And you're seeing that right now. They're really coming out and putting good pressure on them.
Well, not a good shot at all on the inside. That shot taken by Martin. Here comes Wichita State back trying to rebuild its lead. Looks the pump inside by Hill, and Woodside pulls it down for the Beavers.
I think Hill might have caught some of that disease that Martin just had.
Woodside goes all the way in. Again, he's blocked out of there underneath.
That's 3 straight bad shots, Jim. There wasn't a good shot in that whole trip down the floor, either side.
Both teams use a little more discipline. Our line's off the mark, and down with the ball is Martin. Earl Martin rebounds for Oregon State. They trade him only 3 with 5:25 to go in the first half. That was a setup shot by Houston. Now, they worked a little bit, got him a little more open that time.
That was interesting. Weekly was handling the basketball out front at 6'6". He got it down, kind of pushed it down in, got a little bit of a screen for him, and Houston from about 22 feet buried it.
5 minutes to go in the half. It's a 1-point lead by Wichita. 21-20. Shockers were up by 8 earlier in this half. Well, Oregon State did a lot of pushing on the inside. Santos lobs in there to Greer. Back to Santos, opens the corner. Now over the back that time went Radunovic. That's always going to be a personal foul. Anytime you reach in that way. That's team foul number 5 now against Wichita State. Not yet on the 1-and-1.
Watch the good position on the other side of the basket by Woodside. You'll see him good position defensively in there. You keep him away from the basket, and that's the reason that Radunovic drew the foul.
Clock shows 4:52 to go in the first half, and Oregon State has come back. They're within 1.
Playboy. It brings you the best of everything. Behind the pages of Playboy, you'll find the authors who create the best sellers.
You've had a year of success. Yes, I have.
Interviewers who reveal the person behind the personality. Playboy's cartoonists point out the humor in today's world with a rare mix of art and wit. And then there's Playboy's photographers, masters at capturing the beauty of the world's most breathtaking women. Playboy also tips you off to the latest styles and tunes you into the hottest sounds. Playboy, the magazine that gives you a monthly ticket to the best of the good life. And right now, you can get 12 months of Playboy delivered right to you for only $19. That's half the newsstand price. So enjoy the very best, the wit, wisdom, and imagination of today's most creative people. Become a Playboy subscriber and step into the exciting world of Playboy. To order your subscription, here's all you do.
Phone sold free. 1-800-544-1000. Get 12 issues of Playboy for only $19. That's half the newsstand price. So phone sold free. 1-800-544-1000. That's 1-800-544-1000.
The Missouri Valley Conference Tournament will be played to single side for the first time this year. Tulsa will be the host. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, March 3rd, 4th, and 5th. For ticket information, contact the conference office or your nearest school.
Wichita State now full court pressure. They're coming down and getting Oregon State right from the time the ball inbounds.
Right now he's going to the 3-guard lineup. Grayer's in there, who could play swing forward, along with Hill and Arline. So a little bit different line. Casca breaks across for Oregon State. Woodside's right there, and now taking up strong is Martin. He's got it again. Martin blocked as he goes out of bounds. Oh, that was good defense by Wichita. Oregon State had 2 pretty good open shots under the basket.
But, Jim, they're beginning to find openings on the inside of that defense against Wichita State. They're getting good shots on the inside, and they're getting second and third rebounding shots. That's very crucial for Oregon State. They were not getting that early.
Well, Gene Smith sees that. He puts Carr right back in there as Houston buries one out of the corner for his 10th point, and Darren Houston having a sizzling first half as Oregon State goes back in the lead by a point, 22-21. They led initially 2-0, or 4-2.
And again, Wichita State trying to look to the inside. They want to take advantage of that height, and they got it there.
Carr has the ball knocked loose as he was wide open. Hill follows. Lou Hill's 4th point.
Good angle on the press right here. You see the camera shot from the side. Not as much pressure this time by Wichita State. Weekly brings it down inside against Grayer, beats the press, and then Oregon State automatically goes into their half-court game.
Martin goes inside to Casca. Give and go to Martin.
That's
on the right side, he walks.
Yeah.
Well, that's youth. Earl Martin is only a freshman out of Carson, California.
He took a walk around the park that time. That's about a 5-stepper.
It's his first action there. He did not get in the game against Portland. There's a turnover ratio.
Surprisingly, not very many turnovers in the first half, considering the amount of running we've gone up and down the court.
Now, there's been some tempo. Here goes Grayer again. Carr was in there, and it snapped free, and that was Martin getting the ball out here to Houston. And down comes Woodside, took his eye off the ball and lost the dribble.
All 6'9" guys want to be guards.
Take the guard to notice that. Woodside comes across, puts it back to Casca, open. Oh, nice block out by Santos. Now it's a 3-2 break, and Carr's going in free. Personal foul will be on Casca, and he prevented the slam dunk, which can always bring the crowd into it, so maybe that foul was worth it.
I think Casca makes a good defensive play right here. He doesn't get the ball, but he sure prevents the jam right there. That's what you call getting your money's worth. Watch it from another angle. Up top, Carr, strong, powerful move. Casca just as strong, trying to reject.
Missed a high percentage shot right there, Henry did. His offense has improved a lot, though. He got 20 points in the exhibition against Brazil for Wichita. Looks like he can improve a little on his free throwing. I think what Wichita needs is for him to play under control, especially until these young players get some experience, and this could be a solid team by February 1 or maybe even earlier. 2-point lead by Wichita, 24-22. Backcourt pressure again by the Shockers.
Again, Weekly bringing it up against Grayer. Good pass by Weekly. He gets it over to the side, and Martin sets it up, gets it back, and they run their half-court game again.
Now they've got Weekly out at the point here, working with Houston and Martin. Casca the inside. And here comes Houston, been red hot. Nice rebound. Grayer the guard. Inside to Henry Carr. And there's Woodside again with good position and draws another personal foul. I think this one's probably going to be tagged on to Steve Grayer. And that'll bring the 6th team foul against Wichita, so we're not yet to the bonus for them.
You got to question a little bit the shot selection that time down the court by Carr. He had 3 people on him, and a lot of 2 guys in the corners over there. He had Radunovic standing wide open. He had a chance to take it back out and set it up, and Wichita State has lost that lead. They're only up by 2 right now.
Chance to tie for Oregon State. 2 minutes, 20 seconds to go in the first half. Nice touch pass to Woodside. They worked that ball in nicely, and the second time he misses an open layup. That would have tied the score.
Couple of tough breaks for Oregon State. They can't seem to catch up.
Oh, rebound comes down to Santos. Tipped up by Carr. Now pulled down by Woodside. So both ends of the floor, they're missing easy ones. Here comes Castle coming across. Underhand toss. Tried to get a tip on it, and he fouls on the play. Well, players are just trying to make sensational plays, Larry, when And really a little more patience, I think, and either team might be able to open up a lead here.
I think maybe these guys think they're playing February right now, and it's not even Thanksgiving yet.
That's a foul on Castle, but it soon will be, right?
Tomorrow.
24-22. Ralph Miller, a legend in his own time. At Oregon State, this is his 35th year as a head coach. 601 wins. He needs 10 more wins to move into the number 8 spot all time. Would tie him with Cam Henderson, who's been quite a legend back in West Virginia, around the area we came from there.
Both these clubs not shooting the ball very well right now, and they've had good high percentage shots. And we talk about those shots that are within 2 or 3 feet of the basket. They just haven't gotten them to roll in.
Be seeing a lot of this young man the next 4 years. Steve Gray's only a freshman, playing here with a hip pointer. Loose ball will go out of bounds, and it'll go to Oregon State. Nope, going to Wichita. No, it's going to Oregon State. Just made a mistake and pointed the wrong way. Now in comes Ted Williams for the first time. Here's another hot prospect they think is going to be an outstanding player. 6'10", a freshman, and Henry Carr gets a rest. You love that name, don't you, Ted Williams?
I wonder if he can pull it.
Pull hitter. Brian King is also on the line for Oregon State. Holding foul by Woodside. Woodside is getting a little bit tired, maybe. That's usually a sign.
Jim, I tell you, Wichita State's getting ready to go on offense right now, and they've run into a real drought. They've only scored 7 points in the last 8 minutes. I think part of that is a result of the good Oregon State defense, but also maybe lost opportunities on shots that could have gone very easily in.
Lou Hill comes back in for Wichita at point guard, 6'5" junior. He's the fellow that 2 years ago was a teammate with Walter Berry out at San Jacinto. Berry departed for St. John's, and a year later, Hill comes in here to Wichita. Missed the front end. They got a lane violation anyway by Grayer, so the ball will go to Oregon State. Oregon State has a great basketball history. Number 5 in all-time wins. They need 5 more wins for 1,300. Sets out the outside. Minute 25 to go. Oregon State hangs on to possession. Wichita cannot pull it down. Arline returns at guard, replacing Lou Hill. A little more quickness, so Hill gets a rest. I tell you, both really rested his players.
Both clubs have gone ice cold from the field. Neither one's shooting very well at all.
And here goes Woodside driving underneath. Big collision there, but no foul. Radunovic was bolted down, and now Wichita comes down with the rebound. Minute 10 to go.
We may put the pads on in a minute.
Well, Woodside has been effective getting in there, but he has not scored well. Only 2 points in the first half. Good fake by Radunovic. Sets up Santos from the perimeter. Oh, nice rebound by Houston. Here comes Oregon State. Chance to cut it to 1. Pass broken up by Williams. Ted Williams slips it, but the ball is scooped up here, and here comes Arline. Boy, he's quick. Arline all the way. Great move. Foul on the play by Brian King as Mike Arline just went driving through. Now they're going to say the foul is on Arline, but he gets the basket.
Watch this left hand right here. Good move to the inside. It's a great call. The official was absolutely right. It was great position in there. Watch Arline once more. That's where he got the steal. Or not the steal, he got the pass and brought it all the way down inside.
Nice concentration there because King has squared up and had set the block. So here's Brian King, another freshman from Ontario, Oregon. The first free throw of the night for Oregon State. Their leading scorer is Darren Houston with 10 points. Tyrone Miller with 6. Gus Santos has 11 for Wichita State. The rest of Wichita's scoring is pretty well spread out. That was his high school figures last year, 83% free throw, so you got to say he's pretty good at the line.
One paper out there named him the State Prep Player of the Year in Oregon.
He looks an awful lot like another young player that came out of the Northwest year before, now playing for Duke. That's Quinn Snyder. This ball will go here to Oregon State out of bounds. Less than a minute to go. 41 seconds remaining in the first half. 27-22, a 5-point lead by Wichita. Both teams have played in streaks. Wichita's had a couple of cold streaks. And Oregon State's in one. They have a chance to get ahead and just couldn't quite take advantage.
I think both clubs have been cold for about the last 10 minutes here. The shooting has been very poor. But again, you got to remember it's in November, too. I mean, both of these teams are just now getting into their season. This is only Oregon State's second game, and obviously Wichita State's opening game.
Shot clock is off here, so Oregon State might try to stall it down for one shot. We're down to 16 seconds. They're trying to go backdoor, and the ball is kicked by Wichita. There's no shot clock operating now. We're inside 45 seconds, only 15 seconds to go. So Oregon State looked like they were either going for a layup or they're trying to get the last shot. Houston looking down to his coach Ralph Miller for the signal. 5 seconds to go. Woodside ball gets away from the recovers. 1 second. They do not get off a shot. So the fumble by Woodshot takes away any last second shot. And Wichita will go in leading by 3. That's the end of the first half. Wichita 27, Oregon State 22.
Anniversary Collection. Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. 40 hit songs from America's most recognized voice. Hit after incredible hit from the group that sold over 85 million records throughout the world.
Therefore, we have what we call juvenile delinquency. We sing the word. How about if I pick you up at 7:30?
That's fine.
Oh, what a night. Late December back in 63.
Can't take my eyes off you.
Before offered Silver Anniversary Collection is a limited edition. Order now.
Yes, 40 fabulous original chart-busting hits, #1 songs, and all-time hitmaker. To order your 3-album or cassette Silver Anniversary Collection and to save COD fees, have your credit card ready and call toll-free 1-800-453-3306 or send $19.95 plus $3 shipping and handling to the Four Seasons, Box 4101, Del Mar, California 92014.
This portion of tonight's game is being brought to you by St. Croix, St. John, and St. Thomas.
And the teams are warming up at the Levitt Coliseum in Wichita, Kansas. Wheat Shockers leading Oregon State by 5. These games we're presenting, the one the other night, UCLA, North Carolina. Tonight's game from Wichita, just the tip of the college basketball iceberg on ESPN as the nation's greatest college basketball schedule continues for you. The Great Alaska Shootout. That's Friday, beginning at 7 Eastern Time. North Carolina against Missouri in one game. And then the Running Rebels of UNLV against the defending national champions, the Villanova Wildcats, in the other. We'll have a double dip from the Great Alaska Shootout also for you on Saturday, live starting at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And don't forget more college basketball coming up from the Great Alaska Shootout. The third-place game, live Sunday at 7 Eastern Time. And the championship game, live Sunday at 9 Eastern Time. And then on December 3rd, that's next Tuesday, Notre Dame will be at Indiana. Some other top games we have coming up for you in the weeks ahead. Auburn at UAB on the 10th of December, Pittsburgh at West Virginia on December 14th, and Indiana at Louisville on December 18th. We have top-ranked boxing later tonight in Sports Center at 11:30 Eastern. That's 8:30 Pacific Time. I'm Tom Mees. Let's get back to Jim Thacker and Larry Conley, the second half from Wichita.
Two teams that expect to do well in the respective conference this year. Oregon State in the Pac-10, Wichita State and Missouri out of conference. Wichita leads by 5.5, 27-22. And here's how it all came about. as we take a look at the statistics in the first half. First field goal shooting.
Jim, it was very poor, as we talked about. 30.6 for Oregon State, 35-3 for Wichita State. But again, it's early season. You know, both of these clubs just getting started. Wichita State 3 of 6. Oregon State only had 1 opportunity.
And that came right in the final seconds. Rebounds dead even.
25 and 25. Most teams get that for a game, but we've had a lot of shots available to grab tonight.
And turnovers, not any significant difference. Oregon State with only 2 more over the first 20 minutes of action. So individually, as top scorer, there's only 1 player in double figures. That is for each team. Houston's is Darren Houston, or rather Oregon State's, and he got a lot of that out of the perimeter, Larry.
Yeah, he did, and he really was the only shining light, I think, in the first half for the Beavers. Miller with 6, Weekly with 4, Woodside with 2. Flowers did not score.
And Wichita's double-figure man is Gus Santos, who carried them early when they moved to the big lead. He got 11.
Yeah, Radunovich came on, did not play well the last few minutes. Hill, Carr, Normore, Arline, and Grayer all contributed in the first half.
A little more spread out for them. You can see 7 players have scored for Wichita. Only 4 have scored for Oregon State, and that might be kind of the key to the ball game if it remains tight going down toward the final stages. Wichita's played a lot more players, and being at home especially, they could be the fresher team. Cleveland the Beavers is the shout here. There's the Shocker. One time, this team was called the Wheat Shockers many years ago, and then it was shortened to just Shockers. Couldn't get that into a newspaper headline, I guess.
These people in Wichita like their basketball, Jim. I tell you, they've shown up for many, many years. When Ralph Miller was here, he had the great clubs. And I think Gene Smith really has continued that on. He's done very well. Got beat in the first round of the NCAA by Georgia last year in Atlanta. But he had a tremendous win in the Missouri Valley Conference Championship game in Tulsa when he beat Tulsa by 2 down there to get into the tournament.
Well, that's a great rivalry. And now J.D. Barnett, a new coach, has taken over Tulsa, and they expect the fireworks to continue here this year and the Missouri Valley Conference games. Wichita's ball, the second half is now underway. Wichita's up by 5 at 27-22. Lou Hill, the point guard, being hawked out there by Flowers. Man-to-man defense out of front of Radunovich. And Wichita comes out to get its first shot down. That's very important.
Oh, you like to get that second half started well, and Radunovich just buried it deep in the corner. Oregon State was in a straight man-to-man, and Wichita State opens up in the same defense.
Paul Miller's made 1 change. He's putting Weekly now in the starting lineup for here for the second half. There's a loose ball picked up by Wichita, and Hill's going to be wide open. 6 points for Hill, and the first 4 points belong to Wichita, and they've got a 9-point lead, the biggest of the game. Pressure defense taking its toll. Houston looks to the inside. Miller double team, stolen away again. Here comes Hill. Radunovich on his left, to the right for Grayer.
3 quick baskets by the Shockers. You want a timeout. You may think about taking one right now.
Paul Miller needs one, and there it is. Hold it right there. Wichita has come up blazing with just 1 minute gone in the second half. The Shockers have shocked Oregon State and taken a 11-point lead, 33-22. We'll be back.
Every Saturday night in November on ESPN, tune in the best in college football for a chance to win the best in sports car driving, the magnificent Porsche 944 Turbo. And that's just one of over 1,500 prizes, including Sony home entertainment centers, ESPN jackets, and ESPN sports bags. You get not 1, but 5 chances to win. One during each of ESPN's live Saturday night CFA games in November. All you do is write on a card the names of the teams, halftime score, and your name and address. Every game you watch is a chance to win, up to 5 chances in all. Mail your cards to ESPN, Box 1665, Ridgely, Maryland, 21683. That's ESPN, Box 1665, Ridgely, Maryland, 21683. Be sure we receive your cards by December 20th. And remember, every Saturday night in November, watching the best can win you the best on ESPN.
It's been the Shocker defense so far in the second half, and we only played 1 minute. Lou Hill with the big steal right there gets it by the Oregon State defense, and it's nothing but a cavalry charge to the other end. Look left, comes to the right. Here's Grayer with the stuff. That got a timeout from Oregon State, and they've outscored them 6-0, Jim, in the second half.
And Wichita still has the pressure on. And finally, they get it into Woodside. 33-22. 6 straight points in the first minute of the second half by Wichita.
Wait, did you see Grayer keep up that time with Houston going down the line?
That's a great block by young Hill down there, and he drew Flowers into a charge. That's 4 fouls on Darrell Flowers.
Flowers had nowhere to go. He just simply ran right over the top of him.
Now it's another decision time for Ralph Miller. Shall he need leave Flowers in there as his point guard playmaker, or get him out there with 4 fouls with 18:40 to go?
Those 3 turnovers, Jim, that we just saw on the screen right there all came within about a minute, and Wichita State gets another basket.
Lou Hill connects from the outside. That's 8 points for the young former junior college star, and it's a 13-point lead at 35-22. Flowers a little frustrated. Flowers goes in. Feeds in nicely to Miller. Tyrone Miller. Flowers just took it on his own shoulders that time to beat his man, and when he got free, he spotted Miller. Now the 1-4 set up by Wichita. And it comes Henry Carr across. He walks. Traveling by Henry Carr. Sometimes when you get that big jump like that, players feel like they can do anything they want to at any time.
Yeah, they're going to get Flowers out of the game right now. He needs to go over because he's got his 4 fouls.
Earl Martin comes in to replace him. Martin's a big guard, 6'5", freshman out of California. Now the point guard goes to Houston. Houston been their shooting guard in the first half when he scored 10 points. And now he goes back to be the playmaker. Look to the inside for Woodside. Top of the circle now. Here's one put up and in by Miller. Tyrone Miller's 10th point. He's a roommate of Flowers, by the way. And his buddy goes to the sidelines, and Tyrone connects.
Jim, you know, it's interesting. When Oregon State's in that half-court offense, when they run that play and move the basketball, they get good shots.
Radunovich. Rebound tipped outside by Houston. Got the ball away from the taller Grayer. 17.5 minutes to go in the game. Woodside has not been effective offensively because Martin feeding to Woodside with a layup, blocked on the inside, but he has fouled. Foul by Santos.
Good move that time by Woodside baseline as he made it in there. You're going to see it right here. Watch this pass. He'll come in. Woodside gets the screen, gets the break to the inside, receives the pass, and there's the foul committed by Santos. I think he may have gotten more of the glass than he did of Woodside.
Second foul on Gus Santos, number 44. And here's Woodside going to the line for a couple of shots. He scored only 2 points for the game. Came into this game needing 8 points to reach 1,000 for his career, and he has only 3, so he still needs 5 to get there. And he needs to do a lot more for Oregon State to get back in this game. I think we're going to see John Askew, a 7-foot junior, coming in here, transferred out of Gulf Coast Junior College, recovering from knee surgery. Oh, there's some size on this Wichita State team. That was rebound down by Grayer.
Grayer's got those long, loping strides like a thoroughbred racehorse. When he strides out there, it really is hard to keep up, and he just threw it away.
Bad pass there, and nice feed. Here comes Houston. Gives it back inside to Weekly, and a whistle on the play. I think they're going to say that Houston was fouled first. The personal foul will be against... No, it's going to be against Houston for charging. Fouls on Oregon State. Second one on Houston. The ball goes over to Wichita. So there's another great opportunity where a team should score about 90% of the time, and they give up nothing.
Well, you get a 4-point play, basically. You lose the 2 that you should have gotten, and then you give Wichita State the opportunity to get 2 back. Look at the guy from Yugoslavia, 6'10", handling the ball like a guard.
Radunovich, some big size in there now, 7 foot at center, 6'10", 6'9" on the front line. The guards are 6'8" and 6'5". That's really a rangy team for Wichita.
Askew wants it inside. Radunovich with a good cut to the middle.
Santos banks. 13 points for Gus Santos. 37-27. And the Shockers go up by 10 with 16.5 minutes to go in the game. Oregon State trying to deny him. Dawes takes a good short hook by Miller.
We got great position on Santos that time down low, and they got him the basketball, and he took advantage of his quickness.
Good movement by Young Hill, beating Martin up on a one-man press. Santos has Askew open there for a moment. Now Radunovich gives it to Askew. Tipped and Askew recovers. And rebound ripped off by Houston. Got an open man. And here comes Miller in for the layup. Tyrone Miller's 14th point, and Miller has carried all the scoring in the second half with the exception of Woodside's one free throw.
Jim, you got to give Darren Houston credit for looking up. That's a good play. You look up the floor to see who's ahead of you. You got him the basketball, and he got the basket. Oregon State now within 6.
And Martin takes it away. And here he goes again. Houston, good pass, cross-court, back to Woodside. Layup. Beautiful play. And Oregon State has found a new spark. And the Beavers have cut it to 5, I believe, or 4. It's 37-33.
Watch this. Woodside, one side, got it back and laid it in. There's the charge right there. Jim, that was an outstanding play by Miller. He received the pass, looked straight at Woodside, making the break, and got the ball right back to him, the open man, and got the layup. Oregon State with a big surge here to come back to Wichita State. They're just down 4.
Fresh players in for Gene Wood-Smithson. Mike Arline, number 4, comes in at guard. That's him with the ball. Also in there's Curtis Bailey. Smithson's used these 10 or 11 players already. Santos from the outside. Slammed in by Bailey. And a foul's going to be called on the play. Let's see if the basket's allowed. Basket's good.
Watch it again right here. Santos with a miss. Watch Bailey come from the outside right here. Good tip by Bailey, but he went right over the top of the falling Woodside.
Now, I think they'll say the foul was on Askew. Well, I'm probably going to say it was on Bailey. Could have been either one. First foul on Bailey.
Jim, they gave the foul to Askew. They did give it to Askew.
Yep, so Askew gets the foul, second team foul. 39-33. Wichita been a little bit of a drought there as Oregon State was catching up. Here goes Martin. Martin gets in close for a shot. Earl Martin's first basket. 39-35. Oregon State's looked a lot better since the timeout. 15 minutes to go in the game. A lot of time. Inside Greer. Boy, what a pivoted move to a basket by a freshman.
He kind of weaved his way between that Oregon State club. There were a lot of orange jerseys, but he found his way through.
41-35, Wichita. Now watch him cut. And here comes Martin the other way. And Woodside was in there, but it's taken away by Santos for Wichita. Bailey threw it behind the breaking Greer. And the ball will go out of bounds to Oregon State. Now, Smithson's upset at his own team right now, but they're going to play this way for a while because there's so much youth on the club.
Askew going back to the bench right there.
Yeah, Ted Williams is back in.
Right there.
Williams comes back in. He's 6'10".
Wichita State now sort of contributing to that category of turnovers. It was 3-0 at the beginning of the second half. And all of a sudden, Wichita State's gone ahead in that category.
Now the ball knocked away from Woodside. Arline has got a man on his left. Gives it to Williams. Williams is pushed and fouled.
Looks like Miller might have gotten it.
Might not have been a bad foul. 3 fouls on Tyrone Miller. Let's watch it, Larry.
Arline looking to his left, kept looking, and finally there came Williams to the inside. Miller with a foul. Williams goes to the line for the 2 shots. That's a good idea, Jim. When you're on the break like that, if you're the lead man with the ball, you wait for the other guys to catch up if you don't have any type of shot. As you look up and you see coming in there Mark Kaska coming into the basketball game. But you're the guy holding the ball. You're in control of it. You wait for your people to fill lanes, and that time he did and got it to Williams, and Williams goes to the line for a chance for 2 shots.
That Normore comes in, so 2 more substitutions by Gene Smithson. He's really throwing this bench at Oregon State. It'll be interesting to see how things turn out in the final minutes. Ted Williams up there for 2 shots. A lot of raw talent here with this young fellow. He can run the court, rebound, great shot blocker. Just a freshman, 6'10", out of Chester, Pennsylvania. (42-35). The Shockers are back up to a 7-point lead, once led by 13 with that flurry coming out to start the second half. 14 minutes to go in the game. Man-to-man defense by Wichita.
Wichita State doing a good job on their man-to-man pressure, and they're really denying the pass inside. Santos and Miller are really having a battle.
Good move by Kaska. Mark Kaska, 6'8" sophomore out of Seattle. Made a fine roll from the high post. 42-37. Oregon State back within 5.
Well, there's a real battle going on inside. They've got a 1-4 alignment, and they're really trying to struggle to get into position. Defense to try to deny the ball. Offense trying to get to it.
Well, they just called one away from the ball there. They got an illegal pick. Normore was trying to drive, and they got an illegal pick by Curtis Bailey. kind of moving on the screen like a downfield block.
All that meat underneath, and then they pick on the skinny guys. Bailey.
Oregon State can come back within 3 if they score here. They got Tyrone Miller and Mark Casca on the inside. Kind of softer man-to-man right now by Wichita. Cut off the middle. Miller inside, double teamed effectively. Shot clock at 20 seconds.
Oregon State being a lot more patient right now.
Shot clock to 12. Underneath. There's a loose ball. Racing is our line to get it for Wichita. And Bailey comes down the middle open. Put up by Williams.
Good rebound that time by Ted Williams. Casca had no chance. He was out of position, too far underneath the basket. Williams went right up over the top of it.
44-37. That's for Ted Williams. Wasn't exact. Oh, and a good steal by Arline. Arline's coming in. And he's fouled on the play by Weekly. Second foul by Paul Weekly. A little embarrassed, probably, having that ball swiped away by 5'11" Mark Arline. And Weekly's going to sit down.
Watch the steal by Arline. Good hands. Speed, quickness. Get up the court and get it up. Protect the ball with your body, and that's what he did. Weekly drew. Arline drew the foul from Weekly. Weekly looked at the official and he says, "Are you pointing to me?" And he said, "Yes." There's Ralph Miller.
Mike Arline, good look at Ralph. Mike Arline here was a starter. He started 24 games last year, but in the preseason he was beaten out for the point guard job by Hill, who's 6 inches taller at 6'5". Last couple of personal fouls by Oregon State have paid off. A moment ago, they fouled Williams. He had only 1 out of 2. Now they've fouled Arline, who had a layup, and that's the best he can get, 1 out of 2. That makes it 44-37.
Disallowed.
It's not going to be counted.
Into the lane
violation. So it's still just a 7-point lead by Wichita. Oregon State gets the ball. Now they're picking up full court. Wichita is. Now here's the jump ship. They got a double team. Oregon State smartly picks that up. And Houston out of the corner. Just lost control of the ball. Radunovich is coming back. On pass to Normore.
That's a smart play by Normore. He got it back out, waited till everybody got there, and there's the feed.
Williams under, and he was so excited at being free that he bobbled the ball. But then he's fouled by Mark Casca. Third foul on the sophomore Casca. And Williams will go back to line where he hit 1 out of 2 a moment ago. Woodside has gotten a rest, and now he's coming back in for Oregon State. Let's see if Casca goes out or if it's going to be Miller. They're going to give Miller a rest. So Casca stays in to play with Woodside the inside. Here's Tyrone Miller coming to the side, getting a little blow here in the second half. 12 minutes to go. Long one by Normore. Good rebound by Casca. Foul from behind by Ted Williams. First foul on Williams. That's team foul number 4 now against Wichita in the second half.
We talked about the maturity and the youthfulness of this Wichita State team. There's Williams right there, pulling his hands away a little bit too late. He did go over the back of Casca.
Santos comes in for Curtis Bailey. That puts the big gun back in it forward for Wichita State. Santos had an outstanding freshman season. Then things were so easy that he got loafing a little bit as a sophomore and then got the injury, and he says now he has a new outlook. Appreciates so much more the opportunity of being able to play.
Wichita State does a nice job of that press, Jim. They're not getting hurt by getting it down the floor quickly. Casca with another good
great move. Boy, he faked left, went back to his right. That's 2 in a row he's hit personally. 44-39. Oregon State's hanging in there within 5. 11:35 remaining. Oh, what a pass by Santos. Williams drew the shot but fouled. Came right back to Williams. That was a great pass from Gus Santos. There's an equally fine pass into Casca, and Casca travels. Turnover to Wichita out of the backcourt, and the stately Ralph Miller just turns and stares up court at him.
Jimmy had a great story today at lunchtime. We were talking, you know, Coach Iba was there. If you look at the turnovers, they were talking about a game that he played in. Coach Iba was the coach down at Oklahoma A&M, which Coach Miller was playing. And you see Santos make that field goal. and they were working on a new basketball, one without laces. So they played the first half with the basketball with laces, and the second half the one without.
That's right. There's another part of that story we'll get to in a minute. A little under 11 minutes to go here in the first half, or the ball game in the second half.
It's going to be on Williams.
48-39. The fouls on Ted Williams.
I'd say Oregon State does a nice job of posting inside right there. Casca and Woodside do on both sides.
Getting back to your story, Fog Allen used the ball with the laces. They used that in the first half, and Wichita led. They come back in the second half and
Kansas was at right. Miller was playing there.
They came back in the second half. They used the ball without the laces, and Kansas won. So they shot the other ball better and decided it might be better after all. Here's Flowers down to me. He's playing with 4 fouls. Triggers into Houston. Woodside double team. Ball not free. He's lost a lot of passes tonight. Down the middle comes Radunovich.
Nice
behind his back to Santos. Prettiest play of the night.
Well, give Radunovich a lot of credit on that pass, and Santos for being alert enough to pick it up.
There's a reach-in attempt to steal by Normore, and he picks up a personal foul.
Jim, this is really a quick team when you've got Arline and Normore running that press out front, and you got those 3 big guys inside. You got Carr, and you got Santos on the other side, and then right in the middle you see Radunovich. A lot of meat in there, but you got good quickness out front. This might be his best lineup.
Well, I can see that Smithson likes this team. It's a very versatile team. He's got a lot of different styles of lineup to use. Big lineup, use a small lineup, a combination. A little good pressure there by Wichita. Still in a pressing man-to-man, double team. He gets away here to Hugh Flowers. Casca hits Woodside down, and he gives Smith another layup. Boy, how many layups has Woodside missed tonight? And there's a foul on the play. I think they're going to say it's Radunovich.
It's like Miller. I think Miller may have got it.
Okay, that'll be 4 on him. Tyrone Miller.
Watch it again. There's Woodside with another miss. There comes Miller right over the back of Carr. Look at Carr, look around, says, who did that?
Wow, here's the play again, and right there you see Woodside's had several shots like that. He's had a lot of tough luck tonight.
Yeah, he really has. He had a tough first half, and it hasn't gotten much better in the second.
Henry Carr up the line for Wichita. Very quick player. 1-1. Deep rebound by Flowers. So Oregon State trailing by 11. 10 minutes to go. Quick pass to Miller. Tip it by Casca. Boy, Mark Casca's given this team some spark here in the second half.
Played very, very well for the Beavers. They've really come out and played well. He's a sophomore from Seattle. He's really showing a little leadership here. They need to look for somebody like that.
50-41, Wichita by 9. They go inside. A fronting defense in there is taken away by Houston. Houston pushes the court in transition pretty well. Ball knocked away by Normore. They touch Houston last. A turnover to Wichita. 9 minutes, 38 seconds to go as we come to a timeout. And Wichita holds on to a 9-point 50-41.
Hello out there. Listen, how would you like to save some money and get something I'm absolutely sure you can use and enjoy right now, right where you are? It's TV Guide, America's favorite television magazine, and here's the story. You call this toll-free number and take advantage of the special TV offer, and you get 30 weeks of TV Guide home delivered, and you get 3 months to pay, and you get the lowest price going, and that's a promise.
Yes, right now, call 800-445-4500 for 30 weeks of TV Guide at the lowest price going. 30 weeks of TV Guide in your mailbox for pennies a day. And you can pay in 3 easy monthly installments of just $5.75 each. 800-445-4500. Send no money, but call today. 800-445-4500.
TV Guide pays for the call. Call now. You'll be glad you did.
Well, tonight's ESPN basketball coming out of the Missouri Valley Conference in Wichita, the battle against the Pac-10 Oregon State Beavers. And ESPN's happy to send you this action. This is only the second game of the season. Over 100 yet to come, and what should be an exciting year. Fans here have enjoyed it in Wichita. A homecoming of sorts for Ralph Miller, and he's treated him pretty rudely so far. Right now, it's 50-41, 9-point lead by the homestanding Shockers. In last year's NBA draft, 11 players from the Missouri Valley Conference selected. And, of course, one of them was the great Xavier McDaniel in the first round from here in Wichita.
First player to ever lead the NCAA in scoring and rebounding.
Well, that is tough to do, isn't it? You know, very few players do that in the conference, much less the nation. 9:38 remaining. There's the foul trouble that Oregon State has. We have talked all evening about the great depth of Wichita. All the players are using. It's one of the things that makes Gene Smithson smile this year. He can play with abandon and not worry about foul trouble. He can spread them out with all the players he has. But Oregon State doesn't have that luxury. They've got some players injured and out, and it's hurting them here. Could hurt them a lot later.
Good move by Wichita State.
Down the middle, but he walks. Radunovich moved the pivot foot before he got moved. Started on the dribble, turns it over to Oregon State.
Yeah, Jim, they got Flowers back in the ball game for the Beavers, and he's got 4 fouls on him, so they got to be very careful with him.
Weekly, you notice, is taking over the point guard, and Flowers not coming up the ball of the court. They're resting him a little bit. There goes Flowers. Nice pass to Houston. Kaska's right in there. Here's Kaska, partially blocked. And taken down by Radunovich. Stolen by Flowers. 4-on-1. Flowers gives to Kaska. Well, Kaska's been the man. That's who I'd give it to.
Yeah, that's who I'd gone with, too, because he was wide open on the left side, so you had every reason to do it.
50-43.
You get the feeling Oregon State keeps hanging around. They can't seem to put them away.
Washington, Wichita has had them on the ropes, but they just cannot put them away. Here comes Radunovich. Nice fake, gets free. Gets his own rebound, but he may have fouled in the process. Well, that for Radunovich is personal number 2. And we go to the 1-1 at the other end for Oregon State. So this game has got a long way to go and is far from being over. Just 7 points separating them with 8:33 remaining. Mark Arline back in again.
Both clubs are in the bonus right now, with Wichita State with a 7-point lead, a little over 8.5 minutes to play. 7 fouls, that could be the telling factor in the end here. One is the fouls for both clubs, and secondly, those that can walk to the free throw line and make their free throws.
Up there now is Tyrone Miller. Wichita's played 10 players. They keep shuffling them on and off the floor. Bonus shot coming for Miller. Miller now with 15 points. Grayer comes back in. Steve Grayer, 6'8" guard, replacing Radunovich.
Jim, I'd expect Oregon State to go some sort of different look on defense and man-to-man, maybe to protect Flowers a little bit with his 4 fouls. They've got several people with foul problems. And, well, I said that, and they automatically go to a full-court press.
Well, they're trying to force a few turnovers here to see if they can get back in the game. That's going to be a charging foul, or going to be a blocking foul, I believe, by Oregon State. Well, that's lucky that was not on Flowers. That was on Houston. That'll be his 3rd. 1-1 now comes up for Santos. There's Ralph Miller, the man we've talked about, winningest active coach today. He's number 9 all time. 601 victories coming into tonight. The next man he'll catch on the list is Cam Henderson at 611. Rebound Miller. Houston.
Good ball movement by Oregon State.
Weekly wide open. Oh, good tip in by Miller.
How about Miller? He got inside of Santos. You're talking about 6'3" against 6'7".
50-47, and it's a 3-point lead. And Smithson's on his feet in front of the Shocker bench with 8 minutes to go. Wichita hadn't been able to do much with the big leads tonight. Could be a big possession right here. Still a lot of time to go, but leads only 3 points. Grayer. They're working harder now for a good shot. Like to get it into Santos.
I think this is the type of game Oregon State really likes to play.
Henry Carr, that's not the man they want shooting. He doesn't have the range there. And Oregon State's defense forced him into the shot they didn't want. Now here's Oregon State with a chance to pull within one. They've been down by as much as 13 points here in the second half.
Ralph Miller's club, very well drilled. They're fundamentally sound. They're looking for that good shot right now. They want to look and take it.
Now they want Casco. There goes the Weekly coming across. And it's a one-point ball game with 7 minutes to go in the game. 50-49. And what a timeout. Gene Smith has said, let's hold it. It's getting away from us. 6 minutes, 58 seconds remaining. Oregon State has come from 13 behind to only 1 at 50-49. Don't go.
If you need life insurance protection, a good chunk of it, but you don't want to keep paying for it forever, look into QuickPay, the different kind of life insurance from Transamerica. With QuickPay, you decide the number of years you want to pay for your coverage. 3, 5, 7, that's it. You're paid up for life. You're protected for life. Let me show you. Say you're like me, 40, don't smoke, and you need $100,000 of protection. And you want your payments to end in 5 years. Look, you pay $1,569 a year, a total of $7,845 in premiums, not a cent more. You have $100,000 in protection from the word go. All along the way, your Transamerica QuickPay policy builds tax-deferred cash value at high current interest rates. And you don't pay even one premium after the first 5 years. QuickPay from Transamerica. Find out about it. Quick.
For complete details about QuickPay, call 800-554-9000, toll-free. That's 800-554-9000. Call...
Racing. From the inside, no one covers it like Auto Week. Auto Week makes you an insider at the world's great race circuits every week. In the pits, behind the scenes, even in the cockpit with racing driver columnists in Formula One, NASCAR, and kart. Inside coverage just days after the race. And Auto Week puts you inside the world's most exciting cars, right behind the wheel. Auto Week takes you inside the whole automotive scene. Personalities, great cars of the past, columnists with inside scuttlebutt. Let Auto Week make you an insider, too. Call for a year's subscription to Auto Week. 52 issues at the basic price of $23, just 44 cents an issue. Call 1-800-544-1000 and get this $8 Auto Week t-shirt absolutely free. Call right now, 1-800-544-1000. Let Auto Week make you an insider, too.
Well, there's some of the great heritage of the Missouri Valley Conference. 4 NCAA basketball championships in the league history. But here tonight, 10 straight points by Oregon State has put the Beavers back within 1. They have trailed by 13 at one stage, and then it was 50-39. It's now become 50-49.
The shooting has improved significantly. Wichita State's up to 44-2, and they were at 35. Oregon State was at 30.6 in the first half. They're now at 42.5.
Man-for-man pickup. Intercepted. Oregon State can take the lead. Watch the distance of this team. They've done much better with Casca at center in place of Woodside.
Jim, you think maybe that maturity factor might be showing on this Wichita State Shocker team right now?
There goes Houston, and the rebound knocked out by Hill. It could be, but their most veteran player is not the player who produced for them tonight. They're not knocking Steve Woodside. It just wasn't his night. He had tough luck. But Casca's in there, and they've been a more cohesive unit. But, yeah, I think you're right. Great patience. Even though a 45-second shot clock is going, that's a long time.
You got to remember, Oregon State was down 13 points in the first half, and they never panicked, and I think that's the sign of a good basketball team.
Here's Casca. Casca walks. That turns it over to Wichita State. 6 minutes, 22 seconds to go. Boy, Wichita State needs to get out of this drought right now for their own sake, and Oregon State will be hitching up for their man-to-man pressure defense.
Staying with that man-to-man defense. Flowers backing off a little bit. He's going to give Hill some room.
Here's Grayer getting open, and rebound comes outside the Flowers. Again, Oregon State a chance to take the lead.
Take a look around. Who's open?
Settle it down. They want to get the ball to Casca. There he is. Here comes Casca spinning around. Rebound is off by Ted Williams, a freshman for Wichita.
Wichita State's got the numbers. 4-3. Now they're going to pull it back out.
5 minutes, 40 seconds remaining. Out of the corner. Rebound down to Miller for Oregon State. Third time the Beavers have had a chance to go ahead. And here comes Casca, and Casca walks. Well, of the three opportunities down floor, I have to say, well, Casca put spark on the team. It's been Casca that's either turned over the ball or gotten onto a bad shot. Right there's the second turnover for him.
Well, his problem was he had no options. He got in there and he was committed to the shot, and once he got off balance, he didn't have anybody to pass to, and now he goes to the bench.
Well, I think he's going to the bench because I think he's tired. Larry, I think he is just really worn down at the moment, and back in there now is Steve Woodside.
You know, Jim, you talk about early season performance. Most of the time, guys can play themselves into shape. I think in February and March is when it really begins to tell, because you do play yourself into shape. During practice, yes, you do get the workout and the time, but I don't think it's ever quite as hard as when you're on the floor playing against another team.
Santos driving. Rebound down to Woodside. Woodside comes right in, gets a big rebound, and now for the fourth consecutive time, Oregon State comes down trying to regain the lead. They've scored 10 straight points. Timeout for Oregon State. Clock shows 5 minutes, 4 seconds to go. That could be an eternity in basketball. Only 1 point separating the two teams. Wichita 50, Oregon State 49, so it's down the home stretch when we come back.
Thursday, a Thanksgiving total sports feast on ESPN. The National Collegiate Women's Soccer Championship is on the line, and these Division I ladies can really play the game. Later, the temperature's rising at a bodybuilding scorcher. It's the National Mixed Pairs Championship, and these shapes are hot. And Texas battles Texas A&M in our live CFA exclusive. The Aggies have a special reason to win for Coach Jackie Sherrill.
That's my birthday.
ESPN has the icing on the cake Thursday.
Well, all 8 Missouri Valley Conference teams will head for Tulsa on March 3rd, 4th, and 5th for the championship tournament. First time that all teams have been at one site. Ticket information was available at the conference office or at the Valley School nearest you. 5 minutes and 4 seconds to go. Oregon State has come back with 10 straight points, and now 4 straight times down floor they have failed to regain the lead.
Jim, I want to talk about that timeout that Ralph Miller just took. I thought that was an important timeout. They'd had 3 trips, were not able to convert, and he says, that's it. We're going to sit down and talk about it. We got to get this lead right now.
Man-to-man pressure defense by Wichita. Houston was the earliest scorer. Casca carrying for a while. He's out of there now. They got Woodside back in, and he's due.
See how much more patient they've become.
Oh, what a feed to Miller.
Good pass right inside that time. It was a super pass by Darryl Flowers.
And Oregon State with 12 straight points is back in the lead, 51-50. Now Wichita. Home fans are frustrated a little bit here by this long, dry spell by the Shockers. Looked like they're going to run away. They had a 13-point lead. Oregon State just kept hanging in there. They couldn't put them away. And now they're having to come from behind. The Shockers are up. Ball batted down. Personal foul on Anderson. Oh, they're going to call it on Weekly. Paul Weekly commits the foul.
He was trying to fight across there to get in front of Radunovic. You look at the backside right there of Coach Miller. Yeah, I can't emphasize enough, Jim, how important I think that timeout was for Oregon State. They looked like they were getting ready to get back out of control again after 4 trips down the floor of not being able to go ahead. He took that timeout and got an easy layup.
Here's Radunovic. Why, the basket has just had a lid on it for Wichita State. They can't hit anything. 51-50, Oregon State in the lead. Here comes Houston, change of pace. Houston Weekly. Back door, and they head it inside to Miller, and Miller's foul. Boy, great pass work. As you can see, the brilliant coaching coming out of this Oregon State team.
Well, it's almost as if they walked back out there after the timeout, and there's the man responsible for it with his hands thrust deep into his pockets, his tie undone, somewhat disheveled, but his club looks the best of it right now. Oregon State with the basketball, good passing. There's the foul, and to the line goes Miller with an opportunity to add 2 more points to that lead.
Miller with 20 points. He's the only player in the game that has scored 20 points. Mike Arline committed the foul, and now Clint Normore comes back in, replacing Lou Hill. Boy, Smithson's used all kind of combination of guards tonight.
How about that for free throw shooting? Oregon State 3 of 5. Wichita State 4 of 14.
Yeah, they've had the opportunities and couldn't connect. That's 21 points. If Miller hits this shot, It'll be the biggest Oregon State lead of the game. 3 points. They're now up by 2. Wichita's led by as much as 13. 8 in the first half. 53-50. Biggest lead by Wichita. 4 minutes to go in the game. Wichita's been backed into a corner here by a gritty Oregon State lead. And Wichita wants timeout. Wichita's fallen behind, now by 3. Another timeout by the Shockers. Now with less than 4 minutes to go. 3:52. It's Oregon State 53. Wichita 50.
We have found it.
Show me. At last, the fountain of youth.
Unlike Ponce de Leon, your search may be for that lost half step and sudden burst of speed, for better hip rotation and that extra 5 yards, for that missing piece of equipment to complete your home gym, or just for flexibility in those long-awaited leisure years. A regular power stretch exercise workout can make you more flexible, improve muscle tone, and even take off a few inches no matter what your age. And Power Stretch is safe, controlled, and easy to use. Power Stretch. It just may be the world's finest exercise platform.
And it's the gift that stretches from one Christmas to the next.
To order your fully assembled Power Stretcher for guaranteed Christmas delivery, call 1-800-368-2224. That's 1-800-368-2224. For your free brochure, call 1-800-227-3800.
Well, there's the answer to a little trivia question. Who's won the most Missouri Valley Conference championships? Creighton. And they lost a superstar just recently, Benoit Benjamin.
Certainly did. They lost a fine coach in Willis Reed, who wasn't a bad player in his own right.
And up there now is Tony Baroni, who is a former student assistant of Vic Bubas's at Duke University. 53-50. 14 straight points by Oregon State, and they've taken the lead. Wichita has become attentive now. They were playing with abandon for a while.
Well, it's amazing what happens to you when you start to get a lead when you've been down as far as Oregon State has been. They now are playing with a lot of confidence. They've gone away from that man-to-man. They're in a zone defense. They're pretty well matching up out of that zone and causing Wichita State some problems.
Shot clock at 6. Loose ball picked up by Woodside. They ran the shot clock down to 6 seconds and failed to convert, and this long drought continues for Wichita State. Oregon State's defense has to be credited with a lot of that, and the Beavers lead it by 3. Back door to Woodside.
He missed again.
Another one. Another layup by Woodside would not fall. In there and out. Now let's see if Wichita can turn it around here from that miss. 3 minutes to go in the game.
Well, that's a tough miss. He's had a rough night inside.
3-point lead by Oregon State. Under to Williams. Another miss. And a personal foul. Williams fouled on the play. It'll be 2 shots coming up for Ted Williams, but that was on the rebound. He had missed it first. That's 5 fouls, I'm afraid, on Tyrone Miller, though, and he's a key man.
Boy, that's tough to miss a shot right there. Williams with enough presence of mind to go back up again and go for a second shot, and that's when he drew the foul.
But now here could be a key factor. 2 minutes, 46 seconds to go. Tyrone Miller, leading scorer in the game for both teams. 22 points for Oregon State, and he is out of the game. That's a leading score goes out for Oregon State. 22 points, and 2 minutes, 46 seconds to go. And who's coming in? The guy who gave him spark here in the second half, Mark Kaska, 6'8" sophomore from Seattle, scored 8 points in his play in the second half. Looked like he tired a little bit. Now let's see if he's coming back fresh again.
Wichita State has gone 7.5 minutes without a point. You talk about a drought.
Well, they haven't scored since midway in the second half then.
Well, the score was 50-39, and they now lead 53-50, and they still cannot convert free throws or field goals.
You know, you can believe this on the road, Larry, but it's hard to believe on your home floor. Williams will try again. Finally. The long dry spell is over. Let's see what happens now. Oregon State with a 2-point lead. Oregon State responds pretty well to pressure because they use it themselves. And under is Kaska. Good fake. Kaska takes it up, and he's hammered on the play. Boy, the Oregon State team responds so well to pressure defense. They just calmly work for an open man.
Well, that's the maturity factor right there. You've got experienced players out there. Kaska looks good pump fake right there. I'll tell you what, on the other end of it, though, Radunovic got his money's worth on his foul. Look at Kaska look back. Get him up in the air. He floats by. There's Radunovic right there.
Wow. Put the whammy on him. 2 shots to Kaska. Kaska's play, along with Tyrone Miller, has been the inspirational part of this comeback for Oregon State. And now leading it again by 3, and they have a chance to go to their biggest lead if he hits this one. Well, still a 3-point lead, 54-51. Wichita, 2.5 minutes to go.
Oregon State again back into that zone defense. It's a matchup. Wherever Wichita State goes, they match up with it.
Match-up zone. Let's see if they start trying to hit the creases. Radunovic rolls down the pivot. Rebound goes out of bounds. It'll go to Wichita. Knocked out by Houston of Oregon State. 2 minutes, 6 seconds to go. 3-point lead by Oregon State.
The crowd really has been very sedate for about the last 8 or 9 minutes. Nothing to cheer about.
No more. Loose ball, and it's going to go out of bounds for Wichita. Knocked out by Woodside. You know, if you said with Oregon State with all its injuries comes in here and with 2 minutes to go, Woodside's still only 5 points, what kind of chance would they have? You would have said little to none, right? And yet they're leading by 3.
Good job of this zone defense right now, Jim. They've really kind of befuddled Wichita State. Wichita State seems a little disorganized as to where they want to place their people out there to attack this zone.
Our penetrates to Radunovic. The penetration did it. And now the lead's down to 1 point.
And now the pressure. Now the pressure comes.
Under it goes. Woodside, and he draws the foul. Personal fouls are going to be against Santos, number 3 on Gus Santos. But once again, you saw how well Oregon State was able to handle the press.
And they did. They handled it easily. But that's what comes from being an experienced club. We've talked about it a couple of times in the second half. When you've got juniors and seniors out there playing, they've been around for a while. You can watch it again right here. They move the ball to the open man. On a press, you've got to look for the open man. Because in most cases, what happens in a press is you've got double team situations, and that always frees an offensive player.
1-1 to Woodside. Woodside have been snake bitten tonight. Now Wichita State can go back in the lead. They're trailing by 1. Now's the time they need the patience. And to get the higher percentage shot, that's what their coach just told them. Set it up. Radunovic banking follows. One minute to go. Oregon State now trails again. Wichita back in the lead. 53 seconds to go. The shot clock at 30 seconds. Oregon State calls timeout with 50 seconds to go. They cannot wait for the last shot. They're now trailing by 1 point, 55-54. And looking back over this game, so many turning points. Looked like Kaska provided the first punch for Wichita, then for Oregon State, then Wichita's cold spell. Miller, meantime, got open a lot, and they got him the ball. I thought that was a key point. And then Miller fouls out, and Wichita gets back in the lead. And then you go back at all the Woodside's bad luck.
Jim, let's look at the last Oregon State basket right here. You'll see as you come down, watch the ball come down inside right there. This is Wichita State, not Oregon State. Good follow-up on the inside right there by Radunovic. That got him the lead, and now they have the chance to go back out there. If they can stop Oregon State and get the lead, I guarantee you they're going to sit on it. A reminder to all of our fans, it's the first year in college basketball that everybody is participating in the 45-second clock.
All right, unless Oregon State gets off a very quick shot, whether they score or not, Wichita is going to come back and be able to run off the clock. Because if it gets down 5 more seconds, the shot clock will go off. There's 50 seconds to go in the game. So Smithson telling his team, don't foul, but don't give them any good shots. And remember, the shot clock will be off when you get it back. So a lot depends on whether Oregon State scores or not. Ralph Miller's had a chance to set up his team. His leading scorers out with 5 fouls. Tyrone Miller. Mark Casca's the hot player he's got in there right now. Houston had a hot hand earlier, but has not scored in this half.
Jim, they've got good pressure again. Wichita State does. Right now, they've got a chance, Oregon State does, to go back in this lead. They're going to be very patient with this half-court game. Try to find that opening. And there's the man that's done it for him.
It's Casca. It's blocked up there and taken away by Santos. And Santos fouled by Casca. Well, Casca tried to take it up over Gus Santos, and he blocked the shot. Oh, wait a minute. The other official, I think, is going to call a foul on Wichita.
Yeah, it's going to go against, I think, Williams right there. He's the one. Yes, it is Williams who commits the foul. There's the official with the fist raised. He points the finger at Williams.
So Casca will go to the line. So here we come with 35 seconds to go. Casca, only a sophomore, stands up there with a chance to tie the score. If he does, he got a chance to put his team ahead. That's 2. Now he can only tie. And with 35 seconds on the game clock, if he ties it, Wichita might come down and try to wait for the last shot. There'll be no shot clock left in this game. Casca now missed 2 in a row. That ties it up. Tied for only the 3rd time in the game and the 1st time in the second half. 55-55, 30 seconds to go. Wichita wants a timeout. 31 seconds remaining. That's the official time. And we're all tied 55-55. Now, Larry, what do you look for?
Jim, I think I'd probably go back inside to Radunovich. He's the guy who's carried him the last couple of times down the floor. He got that important basket to go back in there and put Wichita State ahead. Now, what you've got to do is, if you go inside like that, you've got to get it up soon enough to have an opportunity to go back for a 2nd or 3rd shot. Obviously, Wichita State could stall and will stall for the last 2nd shot. But if you're going to go back in there, I think Oregon State really needs to come out and press. They've got to put pressure on the guards up front. Whether they can do that or not, you've got to think about the Oregon State foul situation. You know, you've got 4 fouls on Flowers, then you look to the inside. If they go to a zone defense and try to permit it from going into the inside, Wichita State's been very cold in the second half. They have not shot the ball well from the second half, so it's Ralph Miller's decision. Do we go out and press, or do we sit back and force them to shoot the ball from the outside?
A timeout situation. Each team has 1 timeout remaining. As you look at Ralph Miller here with Oregon State. He's been in a lot of situations like this, you know, down over the years. So his team has to play tough defense. Wichita can come out and run off the clock. They'll try to run off the clock, so if they do score, they won't leave any time for Oregon State to come back and tie it. If they get an open layup, they probably will take it anyway. Okay, here we go. Now, will Oregon State come out pressure man-to-man, or will they stay back in the zone and let Wichita run off the clock? Looks like they're setting up a zone. Right?
Yeah, they're going to go back inside and try to cut off that inside play or the inside shot.
So here we go. 27 seconds and counting.
Now they go man. Now they've come out of it. They're going man.
They showed them zone. Now they jump into man. Not a lot of pressure on the outside. Wichita looking at the clock. 13 seconds to go. Down to 10 seconds. There's the time, top of your screen. Outside, Ardmore. Rebound, and here's Radunovich. And up again he goes. No, I think the time ended before the shot. I believe we're going to go overtime. They finally got it in there, but we'll go to overtime. That is the end of regulation. Stay tuned for the overtime. We're tied at 55 in Wichita.
Do you do this too? Does a pencil in your hand start you sketching on any old piece of paper, drawing heads or figures or little scenes, or maybe your dog? If you like to play around with a pencil, chances are you have the basic interest needed to help you become a serious art student. Here's how you can find out. Art instruction schools will send you free, without cost or obligation, this simple art test. You take it at home in your spare time. Experts will examine and grade your test. Remember, it's absolutely free. Just write or phone for your free art test today. Phone this number now. Operators are waiting. Or write to Art Test, give your name, address, and age.
All right, the tap in by Wichita State that might have won it came one shot too late. Watch the time now as they follow. Radunovich.
Good follow right there. Here's his second opportunity right there. That's the one that almost went and didn't go.
And you saw the zeros on the clock before the final tip was made. So we go to overtime, and this is the only time you have a second jump ball in college basketball to start the overtime period.
Jim Arline really had a good shot. That was not a bad shot to take. He got it up with 6 seconds to go, and they got 2 shots at it to go back at it and couldn't get it to go.
Now here's another addition to the new rule. The 45-second shot clock is right back in the game.
That's right. They don't shut it off.
Great tip control by Wichita. Under the old rule, the clock was off in most conferences in overtime in the final 4 minutes. Here's Radunovich underneath. Well, a few minutes to go, that would have won it, but it gives Wichita the lead. 57-55.
Again, good pressure that time by Wichita State. They're coming back out to come and get Oregon State. They want to put the pressure on them.
Casca now. Casca feeds inside. Woodside has it stolen away again by the little guy, Arline. Woodside had beaten his man, but Arline came in from the blind side and stole it away. He's only 5'11". 57-55, Wichita leads by 2. Remember now, the shot clock continues to run. You cannot put it in the deep freeze. 30 seconds on the shot clock. 4 minutes, 8 seconds to go on the cage.
Jim, they can really establish themselves very strongly in this overtime if they can grab a 4-point lead right here. Put tremendous pressure on Oregon State.
Radunovich, good position by Woodside. He's done a great job on the boards tonight, but he's had a tough night shooting.
A little less pressure by Wichita State this time. Oregon State able to run that offense.
Well, they were going backdoor to Houston, and for the second time, little Arline saves the day. Remember the open layup that Woodside would have had? It was Arline who stole it. He broke up that backdoor pass. 3 minutes, 45 seconds remaining in the overtime. 31 seconds here on the shot clock. Oregon State trailing by 2.
Oregon State being a lot more patient right now. They want to look to the inside to try to get the ball to Casca if they can.
There he is. A little far out. Down to 10 seconds on the shot clock.
They have to get it up.
Yep, they're down to 5 seconds. Long one by Houston. Wasn't the shot he wanted, but he sinks it anyway for his 12-point, and we're tied at 57-all.
That looked like the Houston we saw in the first half, the way he was shooting from the perimeter.
In overtime from Wichita, we're down now 3 minutes remaining in the overtime. We're tied. Casca fouls Williams from behind. 4 fouls on Casca. Remember, Oregon State, stripped by most of its depth anyway by injuries, already lost Tyrone Miller, its leading scorer.
When you've got position defensively in there, you cannot reach over that offensive player to go get the ball. You're going to get a foul call on you every time.
So one more, Casca would be finished. He's been a key man off the bench tonight for Ralph Miller. Ted Williams on the line here is 2 for 4 tonight, 6 points for Wichita. That's the tie. 58-57, Wichita back in the lead. And now here's a key free throw. Needs this one to get the 2-point lead.
He almost dribbled the ball off his foot down the free throw line.
Got them both. 2-point lead. 59-57.
He doesn't see the ball.
Nobody saw it, and one more goes in. And a foul on the play. And Weekly is hot. Weekly did a tap pass to Flowers, who never saw it. And the boner has cost Oregon State. And the alert play in there by no more.
Watch, Jim. What happened there was that Weekly threw the ball across to Flowers, and he was pointing up court, asking somebody to come down and help. You can't blame Weekly. He just turned and tried to throw the ball back to Flowers.
So no more goes to the line. A chance to add to the Wichita lead, which is 2 points. 1 and 1, or 2 shots. So suddenly here in overtime, Wichita, which has been inept at the free throw line all night, has suddenly gone 3 for 3, and that's the difference in the game in this stand.
If Oregon State loses this basketball game, they'll look back at that play and remember that one.
3-point lead, another big rebound by Woodside. Here comes Woodside. Woodside touch pass, and inside goes Houston, missed the layup. Put up again inside by Weekly. Weekly scores on the follow, and it's back to a one-point game, 60-59.
Good effort that time by Weekly to get inside and put it back up with strength.
2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining in overtime. 2.5 to go. Wichita by a point. Good man-to-man defense by Oregon State. Knocked away by Weekly. Weekly's got an open court. Weekly will put Oregon State in the lead. So a steal by Weekly, and Oregon State is back on top, 61-60. 2 minutes, 10 seconds to go.
Good hands by Weekly on defense that time. He went out and really put the pressure on Radunovic that time, and just as he got the ball, he reached in, grabbed it, got the stuff. Oregon State now with the lead.
Santos gets inside and scores. Wichita back in the lead. 19 points for Gus Santos. 62-61. 8 times the lead's changed hands. 5 times here in these final minutes of the game and the overtime. 1:38-37. Clock rolling. Oregon State needs a basket to get back in the lead. Houston drives to the baseline. Short shot picked off by Santos.
Now Wichita State can afford to run some clock. They've got a 1-point lead.
1:15 remaining. Wide open Santos, 2 in a row.
But you got to take that one if they're going to give you that shot.
That's the all-time career high for Gus Santos. This 21 points. His previous high had been 20 against Indiana State in Drake. 3-point lead. Bad pass. Oregon State now has put itself in a deep hole. 1 minute to go.
I don't think Flowers gave him a good pass. He made him reach and extend himself to the left to try and go get it, and was out of bounds. Casca had no chance to pick it up. Flowers has had a tough overtime.
2 timeouts now left for both teams. 52 seconds to go. Shot clock is still rolling. Wichita wants a timeout. 47 seconds remaining in overtime, and Wichita has got a little bit of a command, although it's only 3 points.
Saturday, television's best sports actions on ESPN. First, the NFL Game of the Week's putting on the hit. It's your last chance to see the league's top matchup, and it's always a thriller. And there's a live doubleheader on tap from the Great Alaska Shootout. It's exclusive tournament coverage on the #1 network for college basketball. Saturday continues with live CFA action. You'll see either West Virginia-Syracuse or Oklahoma-Oklahoma State in the day's best regional matchups. Saturday on television's most exciting network, ESPN.
You come face to face with our romantic past and eye to eye with our robotic future. You witness the renaissance of an Italian hill town, stroll a booming Texas campus, visit the Queen's Merchants in London, explore the Mexican forest for monarch butterflies winter. You meet a bully president, brave volunteer firefighters, the daring acrobats of old Japan, and the amazing mules of the New South. You discover a whole world in just this one issue of Smithsonian Magazine. And now you can get 12 monthly issues of this remarkable magazine for only $18. Plus, you become an associate member of the Smithsonian Institution, eligible for travel benefits, book, and gift discounts. Nature, art, science, history, every month, our whole world. There is no other magazine like Smithsonian.
To get the next 12 issues of Smithsonian Magazine for only $18, call toll-free 800-554-9000. That's 800-554-9000. Call now. Whole new worlds are waiting for you.
Ralph Miller honored back-to-back years, 1981 and 82, as Coach of the Year, and he's been Coach of the Year in every conference he's coached, Missouri Valley, Big Ten, the Pac-10, and they love him here in Wichita right up until game time. And as soon as the game's over, they're going to love him again.
Jim, you know, it's amazing the number of coaches who've come down through college basketball through the years who have Kansas connections. There's so many of them, and so many of them now that are in the coaching ranks that have Kansas connections.
As a matter of fact, Ralph Miller's a personal acquaintance at one time with James Naismith of Kansas, who invented the game.
And, of course, he played for Paul Gallen.
Adolph Rupp played a little bit ahead of him, and Dean Smith a little behind him. 30 seconds on the shot clock. Wichita run down as much of the shot clock as they can. They can run it down to about 15 seconds to go in the game with a 3-point lead.
You know, Oregon State is in such foul trouble right now. They don't know who can go out there and commit the foul. They've got Casca and Flowers both with 4 fouls out there on the floor.
Well, of course, Wichita's got its quick players in there. 21 seconds to go in the